The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force says a 14% reduction in reported crimes is among their accomplishments for 2013. Commissioner of Police David Morris presented crime numbers to members of the media at a press conference held at the police headquarters in Road Town on Tuesday, January 28th. Total crime figures have fluctuated over the last 3 years. In 2010, there were 1,796 cases. In 2011, the figure stood at 1,759, and in 2012, they climbed to 1,818 incidents. Commissioner Morris said there were 247 fewer crimes reported in 2013, with a total standing at 1,571 cases. The commissioner reported that reports of burglaries at dwelling homes were cut in half in 2013, with overall burglaries for the year trending downwards from 279 in 2012 to 133 in 2013.
We saw a reduction in reported crime of 247 crimes compared to 2012. That's a reduction of 14% in reported crime. We saw an increase in detected crime from 2012 from 41% to 44%. So in other words, our detection rate had improved for 2013 compared to 2012. Taking some of the detail around that, in terms of burglary dwelling, we saw a decrease in burglary dwelling in 2013 from 279 crimes in 2012 to 133 reported burglary dwellings in 2013. That's a reduction of 30% in burglary dwelling. However, we do know that in terms of burglary other than dwelling, that's our vessels, our business premises, those types of premises, we still have continued to see burglaries in those areas. But when we look at burglary overall, we've seen a 30% as I said, reduction in burglary overall. So certainly tackling the property crime which affects our community the most around dwelling burglary, we've had a quite successful year in relation to that.
According to the Top Cop, violent crimes fell from 375 in 2012 to 336 in 2013, but there was increase in reports of domestic violence. Commissioner Morris says this might be because more people are reporting incidents of domestic violence to the police.
But what we have seen is an increase of that violent crime, an increase in domestic violence reported, which accounts for about 43% of all violent crime reported to the RVIPF. Now that tells us that people are more encouraged to come forward, report their domestic violence, be victims of domestic violence, and that our policy that we introduced 2 years ago is starting to embed in terms of positive action.
Reports of domestic violence increased from just over 300 in 2011 to almost 500 reported cases in 2013. The commissioner says a vulnerable victims unit will be established to provide a safe haven for persons affected by domestic violence and sex-based offenses.
And this year we are introducing a new vulnerable victim witness suite, which is not going to be based at the police station, because again we recognise, speaking to our victims of domestic violence, sexual offences, etc., they need somewhere safe and secure where they can be spoken to, provide their statements without having to go through the rigours of going to Road Town Police Station. So we're certainly going to be introducing that this year again, and linking that to the court again to allow us to give video evidence for our vulnerable victims of crime.
Speaking to the issue of inadequate human resources in the force, the commissioner says the goal is to recruit 10 constables per year to reach a target of 155. But funding is an issue, with an additional $500,000 required to pay salaries for another 10 constables. Meanwhile, Deputy Commissioner of Police Alwyn James says the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force is seeking to improve its use of technology in the fight against crime.
We have installed GPS tracking systems in all of our vehicles, operational vehicles, front line, and that's linked to our control room. This will help to reduce our response time, monitor the performance of our officers, review their patrol patterns, and in time of emergency would be able to locate our vehicles in the case of anything. Body-worn cameras for officers, especially our firearms officers and other key frontline officers. This will reduce unjustified complaints. It will also improve our professionalism and enhance our efficiency in handling complaints like domestic violence, rapes, and assaults. Many more tasks we'll be able to complete without returning to the station. The officers in the field will be able to update reports, check registration, license of vehicles, drivers, details, all from their cars without returning to the station. We'll be installing a number of computers in our operational vehicles to improve in this area.
Territorial Superintendent Roy Stout, Superintendent of Crime Alexis Charles, and Chief Inspector Kenrick Headley also addressed the press conference highlighting the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force's accomplishments in 2013 and the way forward in the fight against crime in the territory.